We're going to call the Sanborn Regional School Board meeting to order.
I'd like to call the Sanborn Regional School Budget.
All right, we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so roll call attendance. You want to start or would you like me to start?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right, roll call attendance. Heather.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Maura.
Here.
Jim.
Yes, here.
Tammy.
Here.
Jamie.
Here.
Dawn. Myself. Here.
And roll call for the Budget Committee. Ken,
Here.
Vanessa,
Here.
Courtney,
Here.
Jamie,
Here.
and Annie. Here, I will say that I know that Christine is unable to attend tonight. She's going to try and Zoom in if she can, but she's ill. And we're waiting to hear from two others, so.
Thank you. All right, so we will start looking to get a motion to move. Actually, you're first.
Okay. Motion to approve our minutes of, what was the date?
13th of October.
13th of October. Thank you, Courtney. Vice Chair Courtney, you know it all. Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I'll do a motion.
Vanessa, and a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ken. Any discussion, corrections? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That'll be unanimous.
All right, do I have a motion on our minutes from October 19th, 22?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I am looking for it, but I was said as Mr. Ingham in one section.
Oh, okay, we will get that corrected.
Don't think so.
I don't think Tom was here. All right. Do we need to amend the motion to correct that?
What paragraph is that?
It's page 6, top of page 6.
All right. Do we need to amend the motion to correct that, or is that?
To correct the typo.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Thank you.
Now you need to accept the minutes.
I think we accepted as amended, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, manifest documents have gone around. Tom, nominations.
Yes, I have one nomination, Amanda Collins, to the position of Special Education Case Manager at the Memorial School. I'm sorry.
Move to approve.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. No resignations, superintendent's report.
I will defer my superintendent's report to the budget presentation.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, first public comment. If anyone would like to come up to the podium, just state your first and last name, the town you live in, and you have 3 minutes. All right. So we will move on to new business. Tom, you're up. Your presentation of the fiscal year 23-24 budget.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to go to the podium this evening because this year I've made a video that can then be circulated so that people don't have to scroll through the whole meeting to see the presentation. It's all done and ready to go and can be shared readily on social media. So if we could, Gordon will cue the video and we'll watch it, and then everyone will receive their budget books.
We have a handout?
After the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, we ask that everyone watch and just listen, and then we give it to you. Hello, my name is Tom Ambrose. I'm the Superintendent of Schools for the Sanborn Regional School District. I've created this video to help you understand the 2023-2024 budget. I hope the video is helpful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at tambrose@sau17.net. Have a great day. These slides were presented to the Sanborn Regional School District School Board and Budget Committee on November 2nd, 2022. The Sanborn Regional School District has 4 core beliefs that support the continuous improvement of student learning. The first is an aligned curriculum. The second is that we believe in academic and behavioral intervention. We believe in the continuous improvement of instruction, and we believe in a culture of excellence focused on student achievement for the whole child. So we have a number of initiatives that we've implemented to improve the academic performance and the culture of the district simultaneously. Mrs. Rooney, the HR director, and I have spent a lot of time meeting with staff, listening to them in small groups, and we will continue to do that this year in the fall, winter, and spring. These meetings focus on 3 topics. What do the staff feel is working? What do the staff feel need to be improved? And what ideas do they have to make things better? We've been getting a lot of great feedback, and so far the academic intervention program seems to be making a big difference in students for grades K through 12. Students are receiving support in ELA and math. This support happens very quickly when the student falls behind, and this support happens prior to a special education referral. We also changed the master schedule at the high school. So now students have ELA, math, science, and social studies every day. We changed to a 24 credit diploma, which provides more instructional time in the key core areas of math, science, social studies, and ELA. We are also engaged in the NEASC process. The NEASC accreditation process is where the New England Association of Schools and Colleges come to the Sanborn Regional School District, review our program, and make recommendations for us to make improvements. This is helping us to meet our goal of improving the curriculum. We are focusing on professional learning communities. This also helps to improve the curriculum. Teachers are talking about data-driven decision-making in these meetings, and they are talking about the scope and sequence and the plan of lessons in the curriculum, and they also talk about the best practices of instruction. We've been providing professional development for our administrators. This professional development includes communication tendencies, problem solving, community relationship building, and trust. And we've really put a strong focus on improving the culture in the district. This comes from not only the administration, but the school board. We have had a number of full faculty meals. We have had wonderful coffee carts in collaboration with the parent groups at the schools. And we will continue to have more events to celebrate the staff and make sure that they know that they are appreciated and valued by the school district and the community. Whenever we create a budget, we start with 2 important factors. One is our enrollments, and the second is the initiatives that we feel we need to improve the district, both culturally and in performance. This slide shows you what the anticipated class sizes would be for next year. You can see that at Bakey, we're anticipating class sizes of 17 and 18, and at Memorial, we are anticipating class sizes of 20 to 23. At the middle school, the class sizes are a little bit lower because we have a small group of students, particularly in this grade 8 group. And at the high school, the total class sizes are staying right around 24. The total number of enrollments right now at the schools is Bakey, because they house the pre-K, has 340 students in grades pre-K through 2. Memorial has 275 in grades 3, 4, and 5. The middle school has 248 in grades 6, 7, and 8. And the high school will have 541 in grades 9 through 12. And the total is 1,404 students. Again, it's hard to anticipate exactly what the enrollments will be when we're planning for 10 months in advance, but we feel that we have a pretty good handle on it, and we've looked at historical data in addition to the current seated number of students. Due to the high amount of inflation this year, we started our process with the default budget. So I will explain the default budget, and then I'll explain the relationship of the operating budget to the default budget. The default budget is calculated per New Hampshire RSA 40:13(9)B. The default budget is calculated as follows. It includes the same appropriations as contained in the operating budget authorized for the previous year, which is outlined in slide 7, reduced and increased by debt service, contracts, and other obligations previously incurred or mandated by law, outlined in slide 8. This amount is then reduced by one-time expenditures and reduced by salaries and benefits of positions that have been eliminated in the proposed budget. The prior year adopted operating budget is calculated by adding the operating budget and the approved collective bargaining agreement. The total amount is $37,339,353. The default budget includes debt service, contracts, and other obligations. The employment contracts equal $1,350,919. Special education increases include $224,523. There's been an increase in the charges for the Seacoast School of Technology for our high school students of $70,000. We have a bus contract for transportation with Salter for $62,954. Our utilities energy needs, particularly electricity, is $26,395. We have the SAU property lease, which increased by $7,200. Our insurance from Primex for facilities increased by $6,436. And the debt service for the high school and our lease debt service decreased by $65,825, which put the total at $1,682,602. These amounts, combined with the prior year adopted budget, give us a total default budget of $39,021,955. The operating budget is $34,895 lower than the default budget. But the important difference is that we reorganize the money to match the positions that we need. So for example, we used grant funding to pay for some curriculum materials. We reduced our overall vacant position budget by $49,895, and we reduced the overall supplies to all the schools K through 12 by $70,000. This helped us to offset the cost of the SRO services for all schools and bring in an operating budget that is slightly lower than the default. The next slide will compare the default and operating budgets. I'd like to take a moment to thank the administrators and staff for working hard to create a budget that is slightly below the default budget. The default budget is $39,021,955, and the operating budget is $38,987,060. This slide shows the percent increase of the default budget and the operating budget over the current adopted budget outlined in slide 7. The default budget is a 4.51% increase, and the operating budget is a 4.41% increase. This slide shows the projected tax impacts. You can pause this slide and take a look at it closely. I'll focus on the estimated tax impact of a home assessed at $300,000. The default budget would be $5,895 in Kingston, and $6,381 in Newton. The operating budget estimated tax impact of a home assessed at $300,000 is $5,889 in Kingston and $6,372 in Newton. There are some important items that are not included in either budget. I'll talk about those items to increase community awareness, as these items will need to be addressed in the future. After careful consideration, we decided to use the grant funds that we have for ESSER and the Facilities Revolving Fund, which includes the money from renting the old middle school to the SLC, to cover the technology requests for annual replacement for teacher laptops, Chromebooks, iPads, and projectors. We also focused on the replacement of servers, switches, and one of the 3 computer lab workstations. This is a total cost of $256,000. It's very important to note that annual replacement of technology will need to be a part of the normal budget cycle in the future. In light of the $1.6 million increase and inflation, we felt that we could manage this for 1 more year through the existing funds. The other thing that's not included in the budget is additional parking at the high school. It is very clear that the high school did not have enough parking when it was built many years ago. The school is slated to have 1,100 students in it, and it currently only has between 700 and 800 students in it, and there still isn't adequate parking. The other issue that we'll have to address in the future is parking at the Bakey Elementary School, because eventually the seminary property will not be available for event parking for that school. These are items that will need to be discussed by the board and considered in the future. So after the school board and BudCom meeting on November 2nd of 2022, the budget committee will submit their questions to the BudCom chair by November 9th, and the school board will submit their questions to the business administrator by November 11th. All questions will be answered at the joint meeting on November 17th. Please remember that the majority of this budget is identical to last year, and you may review the questions asked last year by clicking on the link in the slides, which will be shared on the Sanborn Regional School District website. There are 3 main factors that have affected the budget this year. I want to briefly talk about each of them. The first is inflation. We are seeing significant increases in all costs, including shipping when we purchase items, supplies, fuel, transportation, electricity, and other areas that are affected by the national economy. You can see the impact of inflation on the budget, particularly in special education and transportation. The second area that has impacted the budget really pertains to balancing the needs of the community in light of the current economic situation with the future of the school district, because we will be negotiating teachers' contracts next year. It's very important to the culture of the district and the culture of the community that we carefully evaluate our compensation for teachers, the professional staff, in negotiations next year. The third factor is our exit interview information. Our exit interview information has showed us 2 very important points. One is that teachers are leaving our district to go to other places that pay higher. The second is actually related to our hiring practices. We've received feedback that recruiting is a problem because our pay is too low and teachers are taking positions in other districts instead of at Sanborn. We are trying to balance the increase in the budget with the awareness that inflation is a problem and that we will need to negotiate contracts for our professional staff next year. We sincerely hope that the budget committee and the school board will take these factors into consideration when they deliberate, and we sincerely hope that the community will support our operating budget at the polls. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions or concerns, please don't don't hesitate to call or email me at any time. My email is tambrose sau17.net. Thank you very much and have a great day. Oh, good. Thank you. The presentation will be emailed to all of you so that you can share it with others. And it'll be shared on Facebook to the community in just a few minutes. Mr. Angel will be sharing your budget books with you digitally. If anyone would like a paper copy, he has a paper copy as well. We're trying to cut down on the amount of costs we spend printing things that most folks prefer to look at digitally, but we do have copies available if someone would like one. And we look forward to getting your questions and processing those. And we look forward to the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I don't know if you want to adjourn, what you would like to do.
I'd like to get the sense of the budget committee. Do you want to adjourn? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to adjourn and stay here optionally? What is your preference, folks?
Do you have one?
I mean, if we're no part of decision making, I would say that we should adjourn, and if we want to stay here, stay here.
Do we have a committee comment or anything like that before we adjourn, or no? Is that not?
You can make comments from the, in public comment anytime you want.
Yeah, I'm okay with adjourning
Yeah,
if our piece is done.
Okay, I'm going to declare the budget committee adjourned.
Okay.
Jamie?
I can go.
Jamie is
Let's
on.
Nice try, Jamie. You are not excused by Annie or I. You're stuck.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much, folks.
Thank you. Oh, he's over there. JJ, you can pick a new seat if you'd like to not be quite so far away. Pick a seat, any seat.
Can I move to the other side?
Yes. Yeah, if you want to move, go ahead.
I'm in the comfy chair. I'm stuck.
Ms. Bashaw, how's that seat treating you? Oh, yeah. I knew you'd like that. By request.
All right, so the next item on the agenda, acceptance of donations from Exeter Area Charitable Foundation. Matt. Oh, he's over here now. He's got one. Too many moving pieces.
So the Exeter Area Charitable Foundation, specifically their Community Children's Fund, has donated, I gotta get the money now,
2,000.
$2,000 to each of the schools.
Oh, 2,000 total, 500.
Yep, yep, 2,000 total.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 500 each to each of the schools, to be used for clothing and bedding for children in need.
Awesome.
And thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I would like to accept the donations with
second that.
very big thank you.
With gratitude.
Yeah.
All right, and you seconded?
Sure.
Okay, great. Any discussion? Other than huge thanks from every single one of us?
Yeah, it's
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Discussion of 11/22/22 early release for staff appreciation.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted to bring it to the board. The administration had requested that we do a special one-time 2-hour early release on Tuesday, the 22nd, in order to provide Thanksgiving dinner to not only our teachers, but we wanted to invite the fire departments from both communities. And I would suggest that we invited the fire department from Fremont as well. The police departments and the folks that work in the town offices at the 3 communities to come and have Thanksgiving dinner with us at the high school. But in order to do that, we needed to have an early release day. We also, I did speak to the YMCA, and they would be able to provide childcare for the students that attend the YMCA program, should the parents need the childcare during the period of time that the 2-hour early release occurs. So I was looking for support of that with, at the request of our administrative team, who have been inspired by the board's activity to do more outreach in the community. We have all been at many, many more events recently. The football games, sports games, activities. We did a coffee cart for each school in conjunction with the parent groups that included donuts, coffees, and drinks. And it was really fun because we rolled it through the halls and actually brought it to their classrooms. And we've also had some great staff meals at the end of the year and the beginning of the year. And it has been really fun, and the feedback has been fantastic. So the administrators were asking the board to keep the momentum rolling by having an early release day on the 22nd, so that we could do a nice Thanksgiving meal for not only our staff, but the community members that support the schools. So I'm asking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks.
I'm not sure who that goes to. It's either Tammy or Heather.
Phyllis is
Phyllis
choice.
gets to be the tiebreaker. Any discussion?
I think it's a great idea for our teachers, our staff, you know, our helpers in the community. So I think it's great.
Thank you.
I'll just, I think it's great to do. I did have concern because it is only a 2-day week and we're cutting it a little short. So I definitely was concerned about the impact on parents. But all in all, I really think it's important to bring our community together. And the whole point is to bring together not just our staff, but also firefighters, EMTs, police, and all of our, elected officials in the town. And I think that's a huge piece that we've been missing for a long time. So I understand, I understand there may be a little bit of difficulty for parents, but I also know I feel like it's a really important thing to do. So I see both sides of it. I understand both sides of it. So I'm good. Yeah.
I guess kind of to echo too on what you said, Dawn. I kind of had the same reservations with it being a 2-day week and what it would do to the parents. But I think what I've heard from parents is they want to see from the board and themselves, they want to see the teachers be supported. And so I think that this is a good opportunity. And I hope that while this may be an inconvenience for some parents, I think that this is bigger and that hopefully they'll see the importance of this, because I've really gotten positive feedback on some of the things that just in general have been happening in the school administration, teachers. So I shared on that hesitation, but I do think that this is more important. So I'm in agreement.
I also wanted to mention that for the BudCom folks in the audience, if you'd like to come and volunteer and help serve food or just participate and eat with our staff or be involved, we'd love to have you. And that'd be great to have members of the board as well. So anyone who can make it, it's all about getting together and just spending some time together, talking and connecting,
What time will it be exactly?
We are thinking that we will start at roughly 2:00.
Okay.
I think for actually for the high school, it might be closer to 12. Let me get you a schedule and I'll send that out and post it. Put it on, the high school ends at 2, so they'll start closer to 12.
Okay, thank you.
I'm thinking of my little kids.
Any further discussion? Jamie?
just, I won't go through, I echo what the other people said, and I do like the fact that we've included the Fremont community in this. I think that it's very critical to do so. And I'm glad to have all three communities present. So, thank you.
All right. Any further comment? All right, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you. I did speak to the food services folks and they said they'd be able to do it. They just wanted the official vote because it's a lot of food to order.
Yes.
So they'll get right on that.
All right, second public comment. If anyone has anything they would like to discuss on the agenda, just state your name, town you're from, and you have 3 minutes.
Vanessa Matias, I'm from Kingston, New Hampshire. So I was a little disappointed in the budget presentation. I feel like there wasn't enough information released. Fortunately, I am a budget committee member, so I have the advantage of going through the budget. However, I feel like as a parent in the community, there just wasn't much to it. You know, it doesn't really explain what goes into the budget. You can't assume that everybody understands the makeup of the budget. I just feel like it kind of did a disservice to our community. So that's it.
All right, doesn't look like anybody else is jumping up. So we will move on. JJ, Student Council Representative Report.
Yeah. I got a couple things. So from Mr. Cass, he wanted everyone to know that the Japanese class is progressing really well, that class is having a really great time. They're having a lot of fun learning, and he's really excited to be teaching that. Another class he's teaching that's having a great time is the philosophy class. I love that class. I'm part of it. We just finished our Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle unit, and we finished that off with a competition in like the format of Chopped, the cooking TV show, and each person took took up being one of the philosophers and made their dishes to somehow represent their philosophies. And it was a really great time. We're having a lot of fun in those classes, and he wanted to highlight those specifically. From Miss Alley, the business and career pathways program has had a really busy fall. We currently have 70 students engaged in some form of extended learning opportunity, which is a really great number. We have 10 students participating in the fall LNA certification program. We participated in the construction days program, and we have 5 students participating in an introduction to trades program. And on December 7th, we will be hosting a business lunch and learn. Business lunch and learn. The purpose of this event is to collaborate with businesses in the community to see how the school can and Miss Alley and the business and career pathways program can best support students learning and progression into careers. And last thing, Mr. Parker last week ran a Red Ribbon Week kind of spirit week to promote a healthy, drug-free, alcohol-free life for students. It went really well. We had spirit days. There was a lot of people dressing up to support. Best day is PJ Day. So yeah, that's what I have this week.
Thanks, JJ. All right, committee reports. Have a report for today? Let me know. All right. Tammy, I saw your hand first.
Oh, okay. The Excellence in Student Achievement Committee met on October 19th. In attendance, myself, Mr. Fitzpatrick, Mr. Ambrose, Mr. Rozier. The district has received preliminary performance data from the Department of Education, and they will have a report at our next month's meeting on that. A work group will be formed to study and make recommendations regarding a grading system for grades K through 12. That was one of our work goals this year. We'll have a diverse composition in order to encourage collaboration among the Bakey leadership, grade teachers, special education, and specialists, as well as representatives from the central office and the ISA committee. Mr. Fitzpatrick is willing to serve pending discussion with Ms. Dutton, who was unable to attend that meeting. I don't know what you guys decided.
I don't think we got.
Okay,
No,
we'll have
we
to talk
didn't.
about that.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about it later.
Okay, a committee is still being formed to study the diploma with distinction, and they hope to have a report for us at our next month's meeting. Mr. Rocher will be amending the curriculum review cycle as part of the November NEASC visit, and she will present a draft at our next month's meeting. K through 5 literacy curriculum was proposed for review this year with the goal of identifying programs to propose for pilots in December. Mr. Fitzpatrick commented that he would prefer to include grades 6 through 8 in that as well. Mr. Fitzpatrick inquired about progress toward preparing 8th graders for Algebra 1, which was one of our objectives during the math curriculum selection. Mr. Ambrose indicated that he would like to have some discussion on a philosophical approach regarding that objective. And that will probably be an agenda item on our next meeting, which will be on November 17th, which is a Thursday, because the Budget Committee will be hosting us that night. I believe we're meeting at 5:20 that night.
All right, Heather, I saw yours next.
I have the policy committee meetings from October 5th. In attendance was myself, Mr. Baker, Business Administrator, Mr. Angel, and Superintendent Mr. Ambrose. Ms. Bashaw was excused. Call the meeting to order at 5:08. Motion to approve the minutes of 8:17, moved by Mr. Baker and second by myself. All in favor. Re-reviewed 5 policies: EBB, school safety, EBBB, indoor air quality and water quality, EHAB, data governance and security. Made a motion to move all of them for first read, second by Mr. Baker. EHB and GBCD were also, EHB was also moved, and then GBCD was pushed back to Mr. Ambrose, and our next meeting we just had tonight, so I will report on that at our next meeting, and we adjourned at 5:25.
To our wonderful admins who have been here a very long time and have a lot to do over the next 2 days, you may leave if you would like to go home. Thank you for being here for the budget presentation.
So we had the Finance Committee meeting on the 19th. Attending were R. Edelman, M. Bashaw, J. Fitzpatrick, M. Angel, T. Ambrose. We discussed the trust fund investments with the trustees. I read the notes from the meeting with Mr. Angel, myself, and Mr. Maxwell, who was the chair, and Ms. Diaz, who was also from the trust funds. The sense of the Finance Committee was agreed to after about a half an hour discussion to preserve principle. So we would prefer not investing in stocks, keep as much funds possible in a liquid state to allow access, even if needed, due to a very tight budget, these inflationary times. So we prefer not to have investments that exceed June 30th, 2023 on bond type investments. The board would like to revisit this in 2023 prior to the end of the fiscal school year, June 30th, 2023. Minutes of September 7th were reviewed. Mr. Edelman motioned to approve. Ms. Bashaw seconded. Minutes were unanimously approved. Mr. Angel reviewed his business administrator's comments. Discussed propane. A new propane vendor was selected and started on 10/7. We're paying 20 cents less per gallon and locked in for 2 years. Electrical rates, the 2 lowest rates received were 12 cents with a new vendor and 13 cents with an existing vendor versus the current 7.1 cents that we were paying through November of 2022. Inflation rates were discussed. New Hampshire currently at 7.2% per state issued economic data. Mr. Angel asked subcommittee their thoughts on budgeting based on historic or current. Mr. Angel is thinking more in terms of historical 2+%. Mr. Edelman noted that using historical was like rolling dice, which Mr. Angel agreed. Fitzpatrick noted contracts made up 75 to 80%. These are locked into rates. And then you have about 7.4 million subject to additional inflation. 2 million of this is bond schedule, leaving about 5.4 million subject to inflation. This 5.4 million should be looked at on a line-by-line basis to apply the correct inflation factor. This would be the best means of transparency for the district. Discussion of healthcare increases. Mr. Angel expected these rates to go up at least 7.8% higher. Fitzpatrick noted that historically this was 10% increased for budget, which provided overages for line items, and we used to transfer back and forth. Ms. Bashaw noted that she is seeing higher inflation than the 7.2% cited by the state of New Hampshire. She thinks we should not use historical, but apply the best rates we can to assess the lineup. She would be using a higher number than the 7.2. Mr. Angel is seeing as high as she is seeing as high as 40% increases in her experience. She is okay with the 7.2% to be applied to the 5.4 million. Fitzpatrick noted the following on the money from last year's $36 million budget: 1.2 million back to taxpayers, 0.5 million withheld as contingency, $250,000 to the auditorium, 125,000 to the track, 100,000 for the office roughly, plus other one-time spending. We also rolled 1.1 million in encumbrances, some in duplicate count. So assume 1/2 is available, means another $500,000. So in addition to the 1.7 million returned to taxpayers or withheld, there is an additional non-repeating 400,000 plus the benefit of the encumbrances. So we have something in the neighborhood of 2.2 to 2.7 million from a $36 million budget that should be available. So she would not be as tight as we may otherwise have thought. Mr. Ambrose stressed the budget is very, very challenging, so he is concerned about the funding needed. Some of the money was associated with unfilled positions that went back. Mr. Ambrose stated that they're shooting for a $1.1 to $1.2 million unexpected funds by the end of the year from the budget. The three existing contracts set approximately 700,000 additional costs for a regular contract. Special ed was 300,000 to 400,000 additional he was anticipating, plus transportation and oil costs. He also noted the need for 3 additional teachers in regular education in Bakey. Fitzpatrick noted that in June, the assessment was 1 teacher. This would be approximately 40 additional kids to drive in additional new teachers. Mr. Ambrose noted that yes, things have changed in this area since June. Requests have come in from the departments. The requests that have come in from the departments is greater than the 7% increase. Fitzpatrick noted that he did not see how we could how that could be based upon the above data that he reviewed. Ultimately, the line-by-line review will provide the insight and transparency needed. We would need 2021 actual to 2022 actuals for review and corresponding past, current, and proposed budgets compared to have full transparency. Mr. Ambrose and all were in agreement on providing full transparency. He noted Mr. Edelman's comment that we have cut the fat and we are now looking at the meat. Fitzpatrick noted the increased taxes from the people voted on in December on a $300,000 house for Newton would be about $792, in Kingston $675, and on a $400,000 house, Newton would be $1,055 and Kingston $900. Not just these tax increases are coming, but we're also entering a session. We all agreed we will need to be transparent as possible in the development of the budget. Mr. Edelman noted the town of Kingston is looking at a real increase of 17% in spending in the coming budget, and to think that the school budget is not going to go up would be insane. Fitzpatrick noted that he agreed, but he also thought it would be insane for the school budget to go up 7%. T. Ambrose clarified he was not saying it would go up 7%. They're working hard to prevent that, but that was a starting point from the submissions from the department, so he is concerned. Mr. Ambrose noted that he currently does not plan to spend the authorized money from the trust funds, but we need to keep that possibility available. Next was a discussion on the custodial contract. Mr. Angel reviewed the need to bring the in contracted custodial services. We have 4 positions unfilled and we need to do this now. Presently using 1 company to fill this need. In 90 days, we will have 3 bids to review for the balance of the year. Then at the year end, we will evaluate the service and cost and make a recommendation for a longer term plan in this area. Mr. Edelman asked about the $310,000 for 3 custodians listed as savings. That is over $100,000 a year. Fitzpatrick noted that this would be a salary in the 60 to 65% as benefits are 52% adder. Ms. Bashaw had noted this percent in the comments last week to the amount of benefits being 52%. Mr. Ambrose asked that this be broken down into salary and benefits to calculate these savings. Mr. Ambrose noted the intervention teachers had to go to teaching due to staffing issues. This has been needed to keep the schools open, that we will need to be transparent as to these real costs. Ms. Bashaw wants to be able to see the assessment of costs versus benefits of making contractor move on custodians. Mr. Edelman stressed the need for cost benefit analysis. A general discussion of some of the cost and benefits ensued. We were not able to address the Q&As, the trust funds, or the spending and review accounts. Those will be addressed at the next meeting, which was on November 2nd, 2022. That meeting was today. I won't report back on that. I've read too much already, so thank you.
Anyone else?
Facilities hasn't met since the last report, but the next meeting is November 17th.
At 3:30, right?
Yes.
30.
What?
At
Same time.
3:30.
All right, then we will move on to our policies for second read. Tom and Heather.
If the board has no further questions, they may move the whole list.
All right, so that is policy EBB, school safety, policy EBBD, indoor air quality and water quality, EHAB, data governance and security, EHB, data records retention, and GBCD, background investigation and criminal history records check. That's all of them.
I make a motion to move all and approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
There was, there was a question that I had last time. I don't know if the answer was about, are 18-year-olds able to ask on their own for sealing or eliminating records?
My understanding is that they can.
They can, okay. Because we don't say that in the policy. We say 26. Or
26.
parents.
So the finesse of that is, and it's down in the bottom in the, I did talk to Will. The finesse is, we are required to maintain records for different areas of the district for different lengths of time. One of the cutoffs is 26 that we can't get rid of.
No.
If they want to take them or do something, we would make them go through a process and we would check with legal before we allowed that to happen. On a case by case, no one ever does that. So it'd be case by case. But if you'd like to amend the policy to be clear, to state that we would want people to, it's just very rare that someone tries to take a
I just want a clarification for myself. It just seemed odd that once you hit the age of majority, you couldn't act on your own behalf as opposed to relying on parents.
You can, it really comes down to the fact that the school district has a duty to maintain the records, and some of them for a very long time.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. All right. Okay. Sanborn Regional School Board meeting will be a joint meeting with the Budget Committee on Thursday, November 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Budget Committee day and time in the library at the Sanborn Regional High School. Public hearing on donations will be held at the start of the meeting. We have to go, do we have non-public tonight?
I do, we have 6
No.
items,
All right.
We have what?
letters E, D, and F.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, there's none. I was
Oh,
just playing
thank
with
God.
There is no
it.
non-public.
There's no non-public. I was
Alright.
just playing with Dawn.
I was about to,
I want the comfy chair more often.
because I was not given a heads up, so I was just.
I would like to go into non-public to be able to hear what you were going to say.
That's not a permissible reason for a non-public.
Well, it depends on what I was gonna say.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, you don't
have
need to.
Don't need a motion.
You don't need. All right, meeting is adjourned.